My cousin dumped her 4 kids on my doorstep and went on a cruise without telling me. Now I'm thinking about calling child services. Posted by you/Xlearner. I won't make this post long, this happened a few hours ago. My girlfriend and I don't have kids, so we have extra free time, as we're always told by my cousin, who has 4 kids, all minors. Lately, she had been joking around, saying we should take care of the children, all of them, because she booked a cruise with her new boyfriend. We didn't pay any attention to it since it sounded absurd and just laughed along with her. We both had an extra day off since it was a long weekend and were woken up by knocking at the door at 7 a.m. We knew it couldn't be the postman, they don't arrive that early, and we weren't expecting any visitors. I went downstairs to check and saw my cousin's 4 kids standing outside in the cold, with no sign of their mother. I opened the door and brought them in because it was freezing and they had no jackets on. I asked where their mom was, and they said she told them we would take care of them while she was on her cruise, so they took the bus and came to our house. I couldn't believe my eyes or ears. I kept thinking, WTF? I called her immediately, but her phone was off. I tried her new boyfriend, and his phone went to voicemail. I asked the kids to explain exactly what their mom told them. They said, word for word, she said, since you don't have any responsibilities and have free time, you said you'll look after us while she's gone. What do I do? I called my aunt, and she said the same thing, that my cousin told her I agreed to take care of the kids. She didn't even have the courtesy to drop them off herself, she made them catch the bus on a cold winter day. I'm thinking of calling child services at this point. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Your aunt must know what cruise they're taking. Have her contact the ship and let your cousin know that her kids are going into the foster system. Ops response. Yeah, I think this is the best route. If she had at least dropped them off herself and asked nicely, maybe, just maybe, we would have considered it. But it's freezing right now in Australia, and she made them catch the bus. This is not cool at all. Commenter 2. I would never do it. I refuse to be backed into a corner. Also, who pays for a cruise with a boyfriend but not childcare? Ops response. My aunt paid for the entire cruise. They're doing it tough with 4 kids, so they couldn't pay their own way. Apparently, my aunt thought she was also covering childcare, so my cousin just abandoned them to me. Commenter 3. Am I understanding this right? Your aunt actually agreed to take care of the kids, and her solution was to dump them off with you? Ops response. She lied to my aunt and said, just pay for the cruise and I'll be taking care of the children. That's why, when I called my aunt, she was baffled that I said I never agreed to such a situation. Update 1 day later. Alright, here's what actually went down a few hours after my cousin's kids showed up at our place. We were still trying to figure out what to do, we gave them food, put the heater on, got them settled. Still no word from their mom or her boyfriend, both phones going straight to voicemail. Then around 10:30 a.m., I get a call from a private number, it's the police. They ask if I've got 4 kids at my house. I said yes and explained the situation. Turns out the bus driver who dropped them off is the one who called it in. Apparently, on the ride over, the kids told him they were going to stay with family and gave him our address. He thought it was odd that 4 young kids were traveling alone in the cold with no bags or jackets, so after dropping them off, he reported it for a welfare check just to be safe. A short while later, both police and child protection show up at my door. They were honestly great, they were calm but clearly taking it seriously. I told them everything, showed them the texts where my cousin had joked about us watching the kids, nothing confirming anything, explained how we had no warning, and that they just showed up saying we'd agreed. The kids said their mum told them we had plenty of free time and would be happy to take them. Then, about an hour and a half after that, police tell me they've gone to the cruise terminal and found her on the ship. The ship was at Circular Quay in the city, not too far from my place, and was scheduled to leave at 3:30 p.m. She had already boarded, ready to sail off with her new boyfriend. They pulled her off and told her she had to come immediately, no argument. She showed up at our house looking completely unbothered, full cruise outfit, sunglasses on her head, lanyard around her neck. Didn't even look at the kids, just walked in and said, "Did you seriously get the police involved?" I told her she left 4 kids with no warning, no gear, and no contact info. She starts going off about how I embarrassed her and ruined her holiday. Then my aunt calls, her mum, yelling at me, saying I'd gone too far and that she paid for the cruise as a treat for her daughter, and I'd wasted her money. No concern at all about what actually happened. Meanwhile, child protection was taking a statement from me and telling my cousin this was a serious neglect issue and would be investigated. She didn't seem to care. Grabbed the kids, didn't say thank you, didn't apologize, just left like I was the one in the wrong. I tried to call my aunt and her a while after that to explain that I was not the one who called the police and child services, but they wouldn't believe me and both have blocked my number. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Sydney? At least you were home to bring the kids in. Ops response. Yes mate, bloody cold in the morning too. Commenter 2. Did they not have clothes, just turned up empty-handed? I'm in New Zealand and the last few days it's been literally freezing. Ops response. T-shirts and pants. No jacket. Commenter 3. Good going bus driver. Sounds like the kids were familiar enough with the bus system that this is not their first time. How many other times have they been left to fend for themselves and in what circumstances? Definitely needs investigating. Ops response. I didn't know she lets them catch the bus like this. No supervision, it was bound to be found out, and I'm glad it happened sooner rather than later. Commenter 4. Bus driver is a good egg. Ops response. Apparently he knows much more than I do, as they've been boarding the bus frequently, especially during school holidays, alone. Commenter 5. I'm just asking out of curiosity, how old, more or less, are the kids? I'm just surprised that the bus driver even noticed or cared. Was it a long-distance bus? Where I'm from it's pretty common for kids to be riding a bus alone, and in my city they even ride for free as long as they have school ID, even in high school. Ops response. About 15 minutes by bus. Much quicker by car since it doesn't stop everywhere. She didn't want to drop them off because she knew we wouldn't actually agree to the situation, so she made them catch the bus. Oldest child is 12, youngest is 5. Commenter 5. How did the cops get your phone number if a random bus driver reported it? Ops response. He got my address and phone number from the kids, apparently he knows them well, as they frequently use the bus during school holidays alone. Additional info from Op. I will be posting on social media to all family members and relatives the true story of events, as they are trying to make it seem like I called the cops straight away as soon as the kids arrived at my house. I've already gotten a few calls from family berating me about this. Second update 1 day later. Didn't think I'd be writing another update, but this situation just keeps escalating. A couple of days after my cousin came to pick up the kids, after being dragged off the cruise ship, FACS got back in touch and asked a few follow-up questions. During the conversation, they mentioned they had contacted the kid's biological father and informed him of what had happened. I didn't even know he was still around. From what I remembered, he'd moved out to regional NSW years ago, somewhere near Wagga, I think. Apparently, he's been paying child support and trying to stay in touch, but my cousin made it almost impossible. She would ignore his calls, block him, cancel visits, that sort of thing. Well, when he found out what she did, leaving the kids to catch a bus alone in winter and dumping them on our doorstep, he was furious. He drove straight to Sydney that same night. He came to our house the next morning. Genuinely nice guy. He said he just wanted to hear everything from someone who was there. We sat down and talked for a while. He asked how the kids were, if they said anything, and what exactly happened. You could tell he really cared. Then he told me straight up, he's going to apply for full custody. He said he's been documenting everything for years, the cancelled visits, the excuses, the strange behavior when the kids did come back to him, and this was the final straw. He said he wouldn't let them grow up thinking being left like that without even a message was normal. I told him I fully supported him. Those kids deserve stability. He thanked us for not turning them away and for taking care of them when no one else did. Then he left to speak with a solicitor. Now, on to something I didn't expect and honestly still can't believe. Our car was vandalized last night. All 4 tires slashed. Nothing else touched, just the tires. We noticed it this morning when my girlfriend went to head out. No note or witnesses. Unfortunately, we don't have cameras installed, but we've asked neighbors if they have any footage from overnight. Can't say for sure who did it, but given the timing, I've got a few guesses. Especially since a family member called us yesterday blaming us for turning the family against my cousin. No proof yet, but we've reported it to the police just in case. Honestly, we're exhausted. We didn't ask for any of this, just tried to do the right thing when 4 kids showed up freezing on our doorstep. The entire family is believing her version of the story. I'm thinking of compiling a Facebook post with all the information to prove what happened, as things are getting serious now. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Call the cops and file a report. Let them know what happened. It won't do anything but help in the custody battle. Ops response. I'm thinking it's the boyfriend, he looks a bit rough around the edges, and I've overheard once from her that he has a criminal history. Commenter 2. I would wait to post anything on Facebook until the dad wins his custody case. Where are the kids now? Ops response. With her, as far as I know, still, but FACS are building a case from what I gathered on the phone call. I'm pretty sure the dad will get custody. To another commenter. Yeah, I might hold off posting anything just for the dad's sake. He's going through hell right now, I can't imagine being in his shoes. Commenter 3. I'm shocked the cops let her take the kids home and didn't take them into custody while looking into it all. Ops response. I get the feeling they like to build a bulletproof case before going all in, to seal the deal. Commenter 4. Why on earth would anyone believe her? There are 4 kids that can at least verify that we showed up on the bus without coats or bags. Ops response. It's more my aunt's issue. She will side with her no matter what, since she has children. I'm usually despised by her because I don't have kids and am seen as irresponsible and as having way too much time on my hands. Even if she knows the truth, she'll still side with her. Third update 2 days later. Last night, around 7:30 p.m., we got a knock on the door. My girlfriend opened it and just froze. Standing there was my cousin's eldest, 11 years old, alone, in the dark, holding a small school bag. No jacket, no phone, just said, "Mum told me to come stay here for a bit." We were stunned. We asked where the other siblings were. He said, "They're with her boyfriend." I didn't want to stay there anymore. When we asked why she'd let him leave, he said, "She told me to leave if I didn't like it there." So I did. We brought him inside right away, gave him something warm to eat, and called the police. They showed up quickly, along with FACS. Because of the previous incident with the cruise, they treated this seriously from the start. The boy told them things no child should have to say. Said his mom had been yelling all day, locked in her room, and no one was looking after them. He said he remembered how calm it felt at our place and just wanted to come back. Shortly after, FACS and police went to the house. We were later told the other children were removed and my cousin was brought in for questioning. There's now an active investigation into neglect and abandonment. I don't know if it was guilt, pressure from FACS, or just everything catching up with her, but apparently, she'd been spiraling since the cruise incident. Then this morning, my aunt, my cousin's mum, showed up at our door, absolutely furious. She started screaming at us, saying I destroyed the family, turned the kids against their mother, and that I stole her kids from her. She also made sure to yell at me, "That cruise was the first time she was happy in years, and you ruined it because you don't like kids." We shut the door and reported it. Police advised us to keep a record and said we can apply for an AVO if it happens again. Later that afternoon, I got a call from the biological father's lawyer. He's officially pursuing full custody and asked if I'd be willing to provide a character reference and a statement about what happened, what the kids said, how they were when they arrived, and how we were involved. I agreed without hesitation. I didn't ask to be in the middle of this, but if it helps those kids get to a better place, I'm in. The thing that really stuck with us is that, just before FACS left with the eldest boy, he gave my girlfriend a hug and said, "You're the only people who made me feel normal." That hit hard. We're emotionally stepping back now, but we'll continue to cooperate where needed. We've learned the hard way that doing the right thing doesn't always come easy, but we don't regret opening that door. If anything major happens, I'll post again. Editor's note. Op posted here that the eldest kid's age was 11 but previously said in a comment that the oldest child was 12. Sometimes posters fudge ages a bit for the sake of anonymity, or maybe the kid is almost 12, just turned 12, or Op simply forgot.